Edu-Magicians, welcome to the Edu-Magic Podcast with your host, Dr. Sam Fessich. Dr. Sam is a professor of education, author of Edu-Magic, and a pumpkin spice latte fan. This podcast is designed for pre-service teachers. Remember, friends, teaching doesn't begin at graduation, but during that first class at 8 a.m. Let's get this party started.
I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Kathy from the Kindergarten Kiosk Podcast, a part of the Education Podcast Network, just like the show you're listening to now.
Shows on the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect those of others.
Find other interesting education podcasts at edupodcastnetwork.com.
Hello, Edu-Magicians, and welcome back to another bonus episode of the Edu-Magic Podcast. My name is Dr. Sam Fessich, and today I'm going to share 20-plus test-taking tips to help you get started just in time for pumpkin spice latte season. Midterm season, right? Welcome to part 3 of the Keep Calm and Study On series, where today we're going to be covering test prep tips to help you the day of your tests, and tips for test reflection. So here we go. Let's start with the why. Why do we need tests and exams anyway, right? Well, we know that providing an assessment like a test or exam shows what you've learned. You can be assessed in lots of different ways, like through a paper, a project, a portfolio, an assignment, a midterm. But please keep in mind that tests don't always reflect the full picture. They only show a limited amount of information on any given day. Don't just learn the content just for the test. Focus on learning throughout the entire class session or semester. It's so much easier to succeed on the test day if you plant the seeds of success early on. As professors, we don't want you to fail. We don't want to give you an F. We're not out to get you. We just want to support you in the best way possible. So stop by office hours, engage in conversation, participate in class, learn and reflect as you go. So let's begin with before the test prep tips for success. Remember, the seeds of success are sown earlier than the test. So you got to do some basics. Actually attend class, but don't just physically sit there. Be present. Diminish your distractions. So take away anything that's coming up on your browser that could be distracting you. Engage in the class, asking questions, taking thoughtful notes, participating in conversation. Staying up to date on any lectures or assignments or presentations. Double check the assignment. Look at the rubrics and due dates. Make sure you're turning in content on time. Stop by office hours. Ask questions. So be engaged in the class, physically and mentally engaged in class. That's going to help you long before the test day arrives. Let's talk about some study strategies. Here's a news flash. Cramming the night before is not a study strategy. I know, right? Instead, aim for short study sessions. Give yourself a schedule and stick to it. So, for example, include in your schedule frequent brief study sessions. 45 minutes to an hour should do it. So make sure you're studying throughout the week, little bits of time throughout the week. Put it on your schedule of time to commit to studying for that test. Be prepared enough so the day of the test, you don't have to study. Remember, cramming, not a study strategy. Make a study guide and organize your notes. Maybe you want to create flashcards. So you might want to use tools like Blue-Kit or Quizlet to create digital flashcards, or get out all those office supplies and create flashcards that way. If you have access to any old quizzes or assignments or exams, collect all of those and use those as study guides as well. Think about what are some main themes within the class. Well, how can you identify what you're going to be asked on the test? Maybe you can ask the professor, or maybe look back in your notes. Are there things that the professor had said? Make sure you know this for the test and that you documented that. Consider getting a study group together and actually study. Don't binge watch the latest season of Gilmore Girls. Actually go in and study for that test. But make sure you're not studying for long periods of time, that you're taking those study breaks. Set a timer for your study breaks, and be careful not to go down the scroll hole while you're taking a break. Set a timer, 10 minutes, go out, take a walk, get a fresh cup of coffee, whatever that might be, and come back and set your timer again for 45 minutes to an hour and focus in on what you're going to study. All right, so those are some test study strategies. Let's talk about what happens when the day of the test finally arrives. So it's the day of the test, and priority number 1 is to take care of yourself. Be sure that you get enough sleep. You've eaten something to fuel your body. You've moved your body around a little bit to get your blood flowing. Practice positive self-talk so you can get into the right mindset. Consider a mantra like, I got this. I am prepared for this test. I studied hard. Once you have the test in front of you, here's some tips to help you out. Breathe. Take a breath. You are prepared. You've studied for this exam. Write down your name and read all instructions carefully. When reading the question, make sure you read it carefully. Consider underline important parts of the question. Do you understand what the question's asking? And do you understand all parts of the question? Do a quick scan of the test to kind of get a little feel for it and budget enough time to answer the questions. You might even want to write down any important formulas or key concepts or vocabulary words that you have stored in your head. Write it down on the test so you can refer to it at a later time. Answer those easy questions first to start building your testing confidence. Take all the time allotted for that test. Friends, there is no prize for the person who gets done first. And just because you get done first does not mean you're guaranteed an A and that you ace that test. Take all the time that you need. If you can't figure out a question, circle it, skip it, and come back to it. Do not spend a lot of time stressing about that one question. Try not to leave anything blank on your test. Make a best guess or show your work. Make progress in small steps towards completing your test. Don't get stuck on that one question. Remember, you're going to circle it and come back to it. So here are some tips when taking a multiple choice test or a test that has multiple choice questions. Read the prompt carefully. Look for any important words like except or does not include. Which of the following includes all but, something like that. Don't look at all your choices right away. Can you answer the question before you look at the choices? Do you have an idea of what the answer could be? Read all the choices carefully. Eliminate any if you're able to. For questions that are true and false, look for qualifiers such as often, sometimes, or a few could indicate true answers. So if the prompt has anything like often, sometimes, a few, that could be a true answer. Think about what it's asking you. For tests that are objective tests, like math tests, think about the materials that you studied. What's the overall problem-solving process? Or what formulas are you using? Did you write enough information that you can practice the problems at home and recreate them? Tips for a math-type test includes showing your work. You might get partial credit, understanding large relationships and formulas within that class. The key is repetition here. For essay tests, focus on clarity and precision. Making sure you read the question carefully. What is the essay prompt asking you to do? Organize your thoughts. Get a little intro, a body, and conclusion. Keep all the parts clear and detailed. Topic sentences are key here. Begin every paragraph with clear, concise topics that tells the reader what you will prove in this paragraph. What is your argument? Connect your evidence to your argument and be as specific as you can. Introduce the evidence, offer the evidence, analyze the evidence, and prove it in your argument. A conclusion, just like the intro, does not need to catch someone's attention, be lengthy or flashy. A sentence will do. Just make sure you answer the so what question. What's the significance of your essay argument? And make sure you budget enough time to go back and reread it and double check it. Make sure you've answered that question. After your test is complete, take a deep breath. You did it. No matter what the outcome, you're going to respond with grace and humility. Don't just shove it in a folder and never see it again or never see the light of day again. Reflect on it. Reflecting on what you knew, what you did well, what didn't go so well, what concepts you're still confused about, and what can you do better for next time. Friends, remember, taking a test, the seeds are sown way before test day. So it's important that you do some of those basics. You attend class, you're present physically and mentally in class. You're taking notes, you're engaging in conversation, you're participating in class, you're asking questions. Because all of that is going to help support you in the long run. I wish you a very happy testing midterm season. If you have any great test taking strategies, I would love for you to share them over on Instagram. Share a screenshot of this episode with your favorite test taking strategy. Because remember, we're all better together and we can learn from each other. Have a great day. And remember, you have the edgy magic within you. And bye for now.
And there you have it, Edu Magicians. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with your friends. For more EduMagic, check out sfessage.com and follow Dr. Sam on Twitter and Instagram @sfessage. Until next time, you have the EduMagic within you.